The answer is no, it doesn't. Well, probably not. Changing your sensitivity to the one you saw in the thumbnail most likely won't make you play better. If sensitivity isn't the secret sauce, why does it feel so personal? Why do some treat it like a religion? Back to the video. And why do pros stick to the same settings for years while we're out here treating our CS2 config like a slot machine? Let's dig deeper. Sensitivity is like the tires on a race car. Swap them all you want. If you can't drive, you're still going to crash. Or I'll give you a different analogy. Think of sensitivity as a paintbrush. Picasso and myself could use the same brush, but only one is making actual art. Why? Because skill isn't in the brush, it's in the fundamentals. For CS, crosshair placement, movement and game sense decide fights, and ultimately, games. Sensitivity just helps you execute. It's a cycle. Bad game, tilt, tweak settings, and repeat. And for a moment, it feels good. Changing Sens does give you a dopamine hit. It feels like progress. But really, you're just running away from the real issue. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that changing sensitivity is inherently bad and will make you a worse player. No, that wouldn't be correct at all. What I want you to understand is that sensitivity is just a tool and it doesn't fully define the player you are. Remember, it's just the brush, not the actual art. And yet, we see this obsession where players treat settings of pros like some secret recipe for success. When a top-tier player like Nico or Donk uses a certain sensitivity, a flood of players rush to copy it, as if that number alone will elevate them to greatness. But here's the problem. Pros don't stick to a specific sensitivity because it's some magical formula. They stick to it because it feels natural to them, and because of consistency. Their aim is elite, not because of the settings, but because of the thousands of hours they've put into refining their fundamentals. Even among pros, there's no universal best sensitivity. Let's take Nico and Donk as examples again. Donk plays at a 62% faster sensitivity, and yet you can't say he's less accurate than Nico, or that he can't hit one-taps. Different playstyles demand different tools. So when a casual player blindly copies a pro's settings without considering their own mechanics, habits or playstyle, they're not improving. They are just adding unnecessary friction to their learning process. You hit every shot for one deathmatch and think, this is it, I've officially cracked the code. For a brief moment, you're convinced you've unlocked your full potential. Then you queue face it and get stomped. Sounds familiar? You start wondering, maybe my sense was actually too fast, or maybe I should lower it just a bit. And before you know it, you're back in the settings, tweaking numbers mid-match, hoping to recapture that deathmatch magic. The hard truth is, if you're always thinking about whether your sense is right, you're not actually focusing on winning the game. You're hesitating, and in CS2, hesitation gets you killed. Changing your sensitivity in the middle of a match isn't progress, it's the opposite. It's regress. Getting out of that toxic cycle is quite simple, but it requires a mindset shift. Forget perfection. Practice beats perfection every single time. Your playstyle is unique, so stop blindly copying pros. Your sensitivity should make your mouse feel like an extension of your arm, something you trust instinctively, not something you constantly question. I get it though, it's easier said than done. That's why I've got 2 tips to make the process a little bit smoother. First of all, find the sensitivity that is natural for you. What I mean by natural is actually comfortable. And what I actually mean by comfortable is confident. The optimal sensitivity for you is the one that you feel most confident playing with. So, how do you find it? As you should already know, definitely don't go looking for the answer in pro players' settings. My recommendation would be to start off with a moderate sensitivity, for example 1.0 at 800 dpi, and play deathmatch for a couple of minutes. See how it feels. If it feels good, maybe this is what's right for you. If not, let's adjust. If the sense is too fast, lower it. If it's too sluggish, just raise it. That's pretty much it. Repeat this until it feels natural, and give it some time. The key here is to make small adjustments. Don't jump from 1.0 to 1.5 in one go. Be patient. This isn't a race. It's a process. For those who already know their optimal sensitivity, I've also got a video talking about how you can improve at CS way quicker using deathmatch, so just check it out or something, I guess. Please. Once you find a sensitivity that feels natural, stick with it. Play deathmatch, master spray control using that sense, queue as many facets or premiere games as you can. Learn how to move around the map and perform all kinds of pre-aims. Your brain needs thousands of repetitions to automate aim. I know, consistency is not sexy, but it works. So stop chasing the next perfect setting, commit to the one you have, and stop second guessing yourself. Put in the reps, because at the end of the day, you already know it. Practice beats perfection every single time. Now, I know, I've been saying stick to your sensitivity, but there are times when changing it makes sense. Let's start off with hardware upgrades. If you get a new mouse or mousepad, you might need to recalibrate. A lighter mouse or a faster pad can make your old Sens feel completely different. When I first got my SkyPad, I changed my sensitivity from 1.9 to 1.5. Yes, it was an overreaction, but it helped me with the adjustment period. And now, I'm back to my old Sens. 2. Role changes. Donk is an aggressive entry fragger, which means he needs a higher sensitivity to clear angles more quickly and react to unpredictable peaks. If you're more of a lurker who plays slower and holds passive angles, you won't need that same flick speed. And if you're an opper, you most likely shouldn't be playing on Nico's Sens. At the end of the day, it's all about preference, but your role does matter. Different roles require different skill sets, and your sensitivity should reflect that. 3. Pain or discomfort. It goes without saying that if your current Sens is causing wrist strain, discomfort, or anything of similar kind, just change it. Your health is way more important than your premiere points or elo. Number 4. Long-term inconsistency. If you've stuck with a Sens for months and still can't hit shots, it might be worth experimenting. But remember, small adjustments, not drastic jumps. Last but not least, aim training. I made a video where I talk more in depth about my routine and aim training in general, so I definitely recommend checking that out. But TLDR, you can, if you want, change sensitivities while playing different scenarios, depending on what you want to achieve. If you want to accelerate learning mouse control, go for a higher sensitivity, which will be more difficult and demand more focus. If you want to practice more of your arm movements, go for lower Sens. But all in all, the key is to change your sensitivity purposefully, not impulsively. Stop tweaking because you lost one game or whiffed a spray. Change your sensitivity because your setup, role, or comfort level has changed. Otherwise, stick with what you've got and put in the work. Hope you found it useful, and if you did, I would really appreciate you supporting my work by subscribing to my channel and liking the video. And also, comment what Sens you're playing on. Let's see how many Donk fanboys are out there. Big thank you to my supporters, Endorku, Demais and Kartas. I'm very grateful for your support, guys. Keep the grind up, and I'll see you next time.